Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name's Mike and you're watching Triple T Acres, and we're out here by the pond today because we've got some maintenance to do. It is the beginning of the month. We're in August, one of the hottest times of the year, and I've been seeing a lot of pond ownership forums, people asking questions about what they can do with their pond because they've got completely out of control, whether it's duckweed or algae or biofilm or cyanobacteria. They're just at a loss of what they can do. So I'm going to show you what I put in this pond to keep it looking as nice as it is. I also have a few problems that I need to address on the edge that can get out of control really quickly. And it's actually one of those things that people have been talking about on these forums, what they've been struggling with. So I'm going to show you all the products, how I came up with the plan, and I hope that it gives you guys some great insight on what you could do for your pond to keep it looking nice or get it looking nice, just like my pond. I want to show you guys some of the problem areas I was talking about. So right here on the edge, I'm bringing the camera really close and you can see these small little leaves right here. And this is actually duckweed, and they can get out of control really quickly. And I think they can double or triple in replication every single day. And the last thing I want is my whole entire pond surface to get covered in duckweed. And I know that that can happen pretty quickly. So another thing you can kind of see here is a little bit of a film on here. This is what I believe to be biofilm. And biofilm is when you have plant breakdown and fish decay that is decaying faster than the bacteria in your pond can eat it up. So what we got to do to address that is add some beneficial bacteria, and I'm going to show you all of those products. And I'm also going to show you what chemical I'm going to spray on this duckweed and some of these American pond weeds on the side to get those addressed before it gets out of control. Now, before I show you all the products that I put in the pond, I want to tell you where I get them from. I get them from a company called Natural Waterscapes, and they actually provided me with these products. And the reason why that I like it so much is because they're the ones that gave me a plan. They sent me a water test kit, and I'll put a link here up here on the top corner of the screen if you want to go look and see at this water testing kit. It will give you all of the parameters of your water, and then they'll give you a plan to address all the problems. So there's no guesswork. So if you wanted to fire your pond guy, you could essentially do that with this company. And I know how expensive things can be when you hire them out, but doing it yourself typically is a lot cheaper way to go. Now, you may want to hire a pond guy if it's completely out of control. Let's say there's algae everywhere, there's pondweed everywhere, there's weeds, and it's so far over your head. You can hire a pond company to address those. But then once you get it under control, the things that I'm going to be putting in my pond today is what keeps it at that level. It keeps it nice and clean and great for your family to enjoy. So let's get the stuff out. Let me show you everything, and then I'm going to actually apply them in the pond here so you can see how to do it. All right, everybody, this is what I use to keep my pond looking really nice. This is not just pure guessing. I actually did a water test with Natural Waterscapes, and they gave me a whole plan that I can go off of. So if you were to hire a pond company, that's the first thing that they're typically going to do, is they're going to pull weed samples and pond samples, and they're going to figure out what is actually going on in your pond. They are not guessing either. So if you use Natural Waterscapes, they will give you this plan and take the guesswork completely out of it. And there's nothing more rewarding than having something that you can do yourself and seeing the benefits of how nice it looks when you're finished. And I just love that part of it. If you could have seen my pond a few years ago, or even just last year before I got my pond aeration system in, you wouldn't believe what it looks like now. I have people tell me all the time, man, this pond looks so much better than it used to. But without further ado, let's get into what I'm going to put in the pond and address some of those issues that I'm having out there as well. So the first thing that I'm going to put in the pond is this Phosphate Eliminator. And it does just that. It reduces the phosphate in the water. On this bag, they have directions written all the way out on the side of here, even pictures on what you do. So what we're going to do, I have a half-acre pond. It tells me right here on the back, 4 scoops. I need to put it in a 5-gallon bucket, dilute it with water, and then pour it along the edge. So that's going to reduce the phosphates. And phosphates in your water are another form of nutrients. And high nutrients in your water is what causes all of the issues that we have. So when we're talking about algae, when we're talking about duckweed, cyanobacteria, biofilm. All of these different things are caused from a really high level of nutrients in our water. And we don't really think about that because in the beginning of the year, it doesn't look so bad. But as time progresses, as that sun is up in the air, the fish are more active and they're feeding and decomposing and this or that, those nutrient levels rise. Now also, the farmers next to you, everyone's fertilizing the yard and everything typically runs to your pond, and that's when those nutrient levels get out of control. So if we add the phosphate, we can reduce that phosphate, reduce the nutrient level that feeds those algae blooms and all those other issues that we talked about. That's what we got to do. So that is Phosphate Eliminator. We're going to put that in our pond today too. The next thing on my list is the Muck Remover. Muck Remover is pretty neat. It comes with these little pellets here, and again comes with a scooper. The dose is on the side. Everything is written out exactly what you need to do. And again, I have a half-acre pond, so it is telling me that I need to put 4 scoops. And how I'm going to do that is I'm going to take 4 scoops and I'm going to go along the edge and I'm going to toss them in with my hands all around the edge. I'm going to try to go the whole perimeter of the pond. And what that is going to do is reduce the muck. Why would we want to get rid of the muck? One, it's really gross on your feet. When you get in the water, it feels disgusting on your feet. And if you have a beach area, that's another thing you don't want to jump in there and feel. But more importantly, beyond just the fact that it feels gross on our feet, that muck is actually a level of accumulated nutrients that it's at the bottom. So after years and years of leaves and fish decay and fish poop and anything else that goes in the pond that sinks to the bottom, it begins to decay and cause nutrients. And that's where algae begins. Algae begins on the bottom, and most people think that it starts on the top, and that's just not the case. What happens is it starts on the bottom, the sun rays get down to it, it gets to a certain size, it starts to oxygenate, and then it begins to become really buoyant, and then it floats to the surface. And that's when you get that filamentous algae that goes all the way across your pond. It looks really, really disgusting, and that is what this will help reduce. So regular treatment with this is going to reduce that muck. And believe it or not, it's pretty wild how quickly this stuff works because it's super concentrated. That will actually eat several inches of muck per month if you're doing that in the growing season. That is Muck Remover. We're going to get that in the pond today too. The next thing we have is Pond Cleanse. And what Pond Cleanse does is it removes the ammonia and the nitrates in the water, another form of nutrients that's in the water column. It also will bring out the clarity in the water. When you have high ammonia and high nitrates, that gives a really cloudy look in your water, and it also feeds the algae, feeds the plants, feeds the duckweed, all of those things. They come with these packets, and the casing around it will dissolve in the water. And all you have to do is go around the edge and throw the packets in your water. And again, Natural Waterscapes makes it super easy. On the back here, nice bold print on what your dose is, and my dose for a half-acre pond is 4 packets. So I'm going to try to spread them out evenly across the pond. They'll dissolve, and then it'll go across all of the water column and lower my ammonia and nitrates. Another thing ammonia does in the water that's really, really bad is it burns the fish gills on the fish. And we do not want that to happen. Some of the ways you can tell if your ammonia levels are high outside of having a water test is your fish will be gasping for air, or you might start having a fish kill because the ammonia levels are really, really high. Some of those ammonias are coming from all your neighbors' lawns, the neighboring farm fields are all running off into the water. Same with all those phosphates and everything else. So that's what Pond Cleanse is going to do, and that's what we're going to put in the pond to help water clarity and remove the ammonia. Next thing we have on the list is pond dye. Now, pond dye, most people think it's just for looks. It actually is a little bit more than looks. When you put pond dye in, it lowers the light penetration to the bottom. Now, we talked about the muck and how the algae sits on the bottom. Well, if you can lower the light penetration to that algae, it can't have photosynthesis, it can't thrive, and it won't grow as fast. So that's what pond dye is actually made for, is to lower that, and it also may look nice. Some people don't think it does. I think it does, depending on what you get. There's different colors you can do. There's some bright blues and some dark blues and some black. Black looks really cool because it gives it a mirror look. But nonetheless, that's what we put pond dye in, and we're gonna do that today too. And last but not least, we have the Duck Destroyer. And that's what Natural Waterscapes has called this mixture. And what we have here is Harvester. It is a landscape and aquatic herbicide. So this is safe for water, and we are going to mix it with some Citrine Plus, and then we have some surfactant. And what surfactant does is it breaks the surface tension on it, so it allows those chemicals to get into the plant and actually kill them. So this will actually handle the algae issues too if you have any of those, and this is what's going to kill the weeds. For my treatment, it is going to be 32 ounces of the Citrine, 16 ounces of the harvester, 2 gallons of water, and then 4 ounces of this. Well, my pump sprayer is only 1 gallon, so we're gonna half all of that, and we're gonna go around all of the edges of the pond and see if we can get rid of that duckweed. I'm not so concerned with the pondweed or the algae. It's not too high in my pond, so I really wanna get that duckweed under control because it can get really, really bad super quick. So, all right guys, well that is all the products that I use in my pond to keep it looking really, really nice. And I'm telling you, you can definitely do this yourself. You don't have to do it alone, and that's why I use Natural Waterscapes. I would have never known how to do any of this stuff if I didn't do my research and get a water test done and get that whole treatment plan to take all the guesswork out of it. And if you're interested in doing that yourself, check the links down in the description. They will get you on the right path. They are a great company. They will communicate with you with any questions that you might have. And I just can't say enough about that company and how happy I am with them. So if you have a pond guy and you're spending so much money on having somebody come out and do it, give it a try. You might be able to do this stuff yourself, especially if they've already got it under control. You could be doing this and keeping it maintaining really, really well. Well guys, that is going to wrap up the video for today. If you like this kind of content, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and watch a couple of these videos here on the side, and we'll see you guys in the next video.